Have you ever wished you could just talk to a library? I mean, a library that's read every single book, every article, pretty much everything ever written? Well, today we're going to explore that exact idea with a little story I like to call The Library That Learned to Talk. It's all about understanding ChatGPT.
Our story starts like a lot of good ones do, with a curious mind. So picture this. In a quiet city, not all that different from yours or mine, there lived a young boy named Leo.
And Leo's story, well, it really kicks off with a problem that I think we can all relate to, right? That feeling of just being buried under way too much information.
You see, Leo had this universe of questions just buzzing around in his head all the time. He wanted to know everything, from, why the sky is blue to the really tricky stuff like how a jumbo jet even stays up in the air. His mind was just this little engine that was always asking why. Now, his parents, they did their best to keep up. But one morning, after maybe the 40th question before breakfast, his mom just smiled and gently suggested, "Leo, my dear, maybe it's time you ask the internet." So Leo discovered search engines, but they weren't quite what he was hoping for. Instead of getting one clear answer, he just got millions of links. It was like information confetti being thrown at him. What he wanted was a real conversation, something that made sense. Instead, he just felt completely overwhelmed.
As the years went by, Leo's hunger for answers just kept growing. And then, one day, something totally new popped up. Something that promised a whole new way to have a conversation. He just happened to see this simple headline online. It said, OpenAI releases a new AI called ChatGPT. And, well, Leo. His curiosity instantly sparked, and he just had to click on it.
So he opens up the chat window and types, "What are you?" The first answer he got was a little technical, but then the AI gave him a much simpler and honestly a much more beautiful way to think about it. It said, "Think of me as a huge library that learned how to talk." A talking library. Just let that sink in for a second. Imagine a super friendly librarian who's already read every book, every article, every single conversation on the internet. And from reading all of that stuff, this librarian learned how to chat and explain things in a way that feels, well, it feels really human.
But how? How does it actually do that? I promise, it's not magic. So let's pull back the curtain and look at how this talking library actually works. It all boils down to two simple ideas: prediction and patterns.
And listen, this is a really important point to get. The AI doesn't think or feel the way we do. Nope. Instead, it makes these incredibly smart guesses or predictions based on the ridiculous amount of text it's already learned from.
Okay, let's try a quick experiment, one the AI actually used to explain itself to Leo. I'm going to start a really famous phrase, and you just see what word pops into your head. Ready? Once upon a... What was it? What was that first word that just showed up in your mind? I bet you didn't even have to think about it, right? Your brain just, made a prediction. Time. I bet that's what you thought of. And you predicted that word because you've seen or heard that pattern thousands of times in your life. Well, ChatGPT does the exact same thing, just on a mind-boggling scale, using patterns it's learned from literally billions of sentences.
But it's so much more than just a fancy word-guessing game. One of its most amazing powers is how it understands context. It brings real clarity to our own ideas.
Leo decided to put this to the test. First, he asked it to explain gravity, pretty standard. Then he tried, explain it like I'm 5, and boom, the whole explanation got way simpler. Then, just for fun, he said, explain it like I'm an astronaut talking to aliens, and the whole tone and style changed completely. The AI actually got the context.
But the real aha moment for Leo came one night when he was trying to write an apology to a friend. He knew what he felt, he knew what he wanted to say, but he just couldn't find the right words. So he asked the AI for help. And it helped him phrase his feelings in a way that was kinder and a lot clearer. And that's when it hit him. This wasn't just a fact-finding machine. It was a tool to help him communicate better.
So, if this tool is so powerful, where does it fit in our lives? Is it here to replace us? Let's dig into what Leo learned about this new idea of a partnership between human and AI.
First things first, it's so important to understand the boundaries here. This AI is a pattern learning machine, okay? Its knowledge comes only from the data it was trained on. It is not human. It is not conscious. It has no feelings, no personal memories, no life experiences. It is an amazing language model, but it is not a self-aware being.
And this brings us to this really wise saying that Leo's teacher shared with him one day. She said, "Tools don't replace people. People who use tools replace people who don't." And that is just the perfect way to think about this. ChatGPT isn't here to replace our intelligence. It's here to be a powerful extension of it.
So how does this partnership actually help us? Well, it can make learning way easier. It can make writing so much faster. It can help us make our own explanations clearer. It's like a partner that helps us think, helps us communicate, and helps us create things in totally new and better ways.
Late one night, Leo asked the AI a really simple question. He just typed, "Why do you think people like you so much?" And the answer he got back was surprisingly deep. It said, "Because everyone needs someone who will listen without judging and help without complaining."
Okay, so let's put a bow on this. In the simplest words possible, what is ChatGPT? Well, it's a talking library. It's a pattern learning machine. It's a conversation partner. It's a helper for explaining your ideas and for writing things down. And hey, it's not perfect, but it's really, really good with language.
And this brings us right back to Leo. With this new partner by his side, this friendly guide in a world just overflowing with information, he felt something he had never really felt before. For the first time ever, the journey of learning didn't feel so lonely anymore.